Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to another episode of Multiverse News. My name is Akeem Johnson. So today is going to be a solo podcast today. Most of my crew are busy resting or still traveling back home after going to regionals, but we will get to that soon enough. Today, as of this recording, marks the end of Pro Tour Aether Revolt in Dublin, Ireland. That lasted from Friday, February 3rd until the 5th. And the winner of this Pro Tour is Lucas from Team Dex Third, piloting Mardu vehicles in an undefeated constructed record. It is unprecedented and quite amazing, I might add. This is his 5th ever Pro Tour, and he has piloted his way to victory. And if I can just be honest, this Pro Tour, at least in terms of constructive playability, most of the pros have been honestly on the side of Mardu vehicles, seeing that this will be the deck of choice to take down the copycat decks and other decks. As explained in an earlier interview on day 1 of the Pro Tour, that they felt that Saheeli combo may be the best deck, but is also the one that everyone's gunning for. It is also weak to a macro archetype. That Mardu vehicles is strongest against the field and overall a good deck, especially against Saheeli combo. So that's the reason being why most of the pro teams, even among different teams, decided to go with this vehicle list. And honestly, can you blame them? It has a strong aggro strategy, but can also go very mid-range with planeswalkers like Gideon, Ally Zendikar. Even Chandra, Torch of Defiance makes an appearance here. This might even drive up her price a bit from the meager $15-$12 that she's been floating around. Also seeing some bigger and heavier vehicle play in Sky Sovereign's Council flagship, which is good on defense and in the offensive seat, as we've seen off of a top deck. Just taking out the opponent's field and leaving their artifact vehicles just sitting there unpiloted, and it can allow yourself to get in for an easy 5 damage in the air. On top of that, most of these Mardu vehicle lists have splashed very lightly for blue for Metallic Rebuke and Spell Queller, which, if you think about it, is actually a very easy splash to make with things like Spire of an Industry and Aether Hub being able to provide those sources of blue mana. And some lists even running a Spire Bluff Canal just so they can be able to hit the Metallic Rebuke right on time, right when it hurts. Speaking of the top 8, there were 6 Mardu vehicle lists that drove their way into top 8 standing, all of which piloted by very strong and very capable players. The only other decks that made their way into this top 8 was Jund Energy Aggro, ran by Martin Juza, and Black Green Constrictor, both of which were taken out very early on in the quarterfinals of the Pro Tour. After that, it was all Mardu vehicles the entire stretch. And even if we were to look at the best constructed decks, in terms of their record from day 1 and day 2, you will see as we get higher in the best records, all Mardu vehicles, many different variety and flavors, ran by different pros. Out of the top few that ranked 24 points and higher, there was only one Saheeli combo deck, and that was of the Jeskai variety. As you go down further on the list, and I'll have links to all that in the doobly-doo below, you'll start to see a little bit more variety, more of the 4-color variants, more Jeskai Saheeli combo. You'll see more black-red energy. There's even black-red zombies running around. There is a bit of variety, but it definitely seems to be firmly in the grasp of your control, your combo, or your aggro, or mid-range. And it seems that the best variant, at least for this tournament, was an aggro mid-range strategy that can be able to outgrind their fellow mid-range people while also outrace the control and combo decks before they can combo off. But Pro Tour Aether Revolt also brought some more new innovations. As I mentioned in an earlier podcast with Stefan, the Pro Tour series is here. That's right, 32 teams made their way to Dublin, Ireland to battle in Pro Tour Aether Revolt. And I've got to say, the results are exciting. All throughout Twitter, all throughout the days, no matter how badly people did, Normally records like 4-4 and everything else are not so great. But this Pro Tour series seeks to reward the players that continue to play and battle for their team and the overall scoreboard. And I will also link to that below, but I'm referencing the top 8 teams that ended up making it in here. Tied for first place was MTG Mint Card and Musashi, both at 49 points. And I gotta say, I knew Musashi was gonna make a run at this tournament. Granted, we didn't see much in the way of on-screen play from a lot of these players, just a few here and there, but I knew that Musashi, I mean, come on, you have so many strong Asian players. Granted, not all of them, but a lot of strong from the Japan scene on here, and they would definitely make a very strong case for this tournament. Just below them in third is face-to-face games led by Alexander Hayne, and again, this is on point. All members of these teams just kept going and kept fighting. Alexander Hayne with several camera coverage matches and has shown that his deck and his players are ready to play. Coming up in fourth place is Deck's third, complete with the Pro Tour winner itself, and it's easy to see why this team was able to get this far. But we'll see what happens in Pro Tour Amonkhet if they can capitalize on this victory for their champion, or if they will slowly fade into obscurity. Just below that, you have Lingering Souls, Dex Army, Magic's Corsair Crew, and Channel Fireball Ice. All these held members, at least most of them, that was in the top 8. Paulo Victor Damodarosa represented Channel Fireball Ice, who was also on Mardu Vehicles with his other members. Masario Carvalho, who was again also on Mardu Vehicles. This is truly the auto show here in Wizards of the Coast Magic the Gathering Pro Tour Aether Revolt. And it was fantastic. Honestly, at the seat of my pants, just waiting to see what pro would post what and everything else. It was exciting and I enjoyed it thoroughly. As well as all of this, the coverage team was on point. They focused in on the teams. They made the players known. You constantly talk to pros, who they are, what decks they are running, what their background is, giving the story and allowing viewers to have a team, heroes to follow. And that is fantastic. They need to keep that up. As well as some few graphical upgrades, there's also the add-in of the advantage bar, which at first I gotta say I was really excited for. It was really good, but as the Pro Tour went on, you definitely started to see and realize that it's a great concept, but definitely needs to be refined a little bit more. There are times with that advantage bar where you think should be moved, hasn't been moved, so I'm not sure who's controlling that, but definitely for the next Pro Tour and Amonkhet, I want to see them push that a little bit further and definitely go on to make improvements in that stride. On top of that, when they performed their deck techs, they were very on point and very well done. The space was condensed. Instead of a actual projection screen being shined off on a big wall, it was very close, very intimate. The interviewer, interviewee, right there with their deck list right behind them in a very clear screen where we all can see. Very tight and well done. Give credit to the coverage team, give credit to the camera team, and the judge staff. Now then, for those of you watching at home, Day 1 ended in a very controversial fashion in Round 8 when there was a judge called upon specifically around the start of combat phase. Now, I won't be going too far into that. We have a whole bevy of pros who weighed in on the options. We have people who clearly are in defense of what happened and people who are against what happened. The rules are as they are, and as I said, we will keep our opinions to ourselves. For the most part, at least for this podcast. If you want to see more about what we said, please check our Twitter at loyalty_counter. And you'll see a little bit of play-by-play of the things that happened at the moments that we were able to catch. Now then, the Mardu vehicles showed up in droves for this Pro Tour, but how is that going to affect the meta and standard for days and future tournaments to come? Well, I will say, the hate for Mardu vehicles is going to be in droves. Artifact hate is going to be coming around. We already seen Release the Gremlins, which I already thought was going to be a pretty decent sideboard card as is. showing up in both of these lists. So red base are going to have that to go after. You also obviously have natural state on the green side. That's going to take out all the low to the ground vehicles except for Sky Sovereign. So you may see those instead. You might see some Radiant Flames. There's a lot of low toughness creatures in these decks. Authority of the Console. That's going to slow down any creature who attempts to come in and right away crew a vehicle. There's a lot of options in even countering. Though I will say control decks are going to have a hard time facing this, but now that they know what the target is, control decks will find themselves refining themselves as the standard continues onward. The one question that we all had in our mind was, is Saheeli combo way too good? Felidar Guardian, Saheeli combo, they even admitted, Wizards of the Coast admitted that this was something that slipped through the cracks for them and caused very interesting decks to appear. So before the Pro Tour, everyone was dead set, including members of this podcast, dead set that Felidar Guardian or Saheeli Ride was going to get the ban hammer coming in 5 weeks from now in the post Pro Tour banning announcements. However, after the results of this Pro Tour, is that the case necessarily? Mardu vehicles came out, as I keep saying over and over, and ran over the cat infestation that was Saheeli combo. It never really had a chance to make its way into the upper tables. However, the times that it was shown on camera, it did a very good job. It was very well stated and seen. So then, is it strong enough to see a ban? Honestly, it is way too early to tell. The Pro Tour is only one tournament. It is a very meta-dependent tournament. We have different pros from different parts of the world all teaming up together to figure out what's the best way to break this standard. So that doesn't mean you can take a deck from this Pro Tour and instantly crush your FNM. But that being said, please look at the constructed record decks, the ones that did best. You will see a lot of Mardu vehicles. So it begs the question, it remains to be stated, that Mardu vehicles will start showing up in droves if people love that strategy. Keep that in mind when you go to your local FNM and when you go in the other tournaments in the future. But that wasn't the only thing happening this weekend. Yesterday, Saturday, February 4th, as of the time of this recording, we had SCG Regional Championship Season 1 Modern, and we had our very own Stefan Landreth battling with Dredge, and he didn't really talk to me much, but from what it sounds like, he didn't do that well. Definitely sorry about that, but I'm glad that he went out and represented and played a format that he's been dying to play for a long time. We welcome him back, safe and sound, today. But please tell us, what decks did you play if you went to the regional championships? What decks did you see? I will say the one thing that Stefan said was that Saheeli combo made its way into Modern. Now that's amazing to see. We already have Saheeli Sun Titan combo going on there. So adding in Felidar Guardian to that mix only makes it even more potent. I don't have the deck list in front of me, but the moment I do, I will be posting that for all the world to see. Coming up this week on February 11th, we have Game Day. That's right. Use all the information that you've just seen from this Pro Tour, all the testing, all the things that you want to try out, even a very fun, very casual deck like Paradoxical Outcome Combo that did make it to day 2, I might add. Battle at your local game store and see what you can do to get that Ajani Game Day playmat, as well as a trophy made promo just for participating, and Yahini's expertise promo for making the top 8. So come on out, battle out. We will definitely be doing it, and whatever else that we do, what we bring, we'll definitely show you. We'll tell you how it is. But that's not all. This week, in addition to Game Day, we have Grand Prix Pittsburgh going on between the dates of February 10th to February 12th, with a main event registration fee of $75 and a maximum main event capacity of 2,500 players. This event will be held at the David Lawrence Convention Center, 1004 DeGuans Boulevard in Pittsburgh, PA, 15222 in the USA. They will be covered on Twitch. So if you can't make it, definitely watch it on Twitch. It will be standard constructed. So we will right away see the impact of the Pro Tour on the professional level as soon as we can. Top prize gets $10,000 for first place, $5,000 for second, third through fourth get $2,500, and fifth through eighth get $1,500. You can cash as long as you get into at least the top 180. So please do your best, and if you're in Pittsburgh, go out, battle. That's gonna do it for another episode of Loyalty Counters. You can follow us once again at loyalty_counter, and you can find me at Musamichi. That's MUSAMICHI. And this has been Multiverse News. Catch you later.